I have been alive for 22 years on this planet as of this video. And in the short amount of time that I have been alive on this earth, I have seen and heard of many scary, degenerate things in my time. I have seen many a horror movie in my time, both classic and cult classic, with some blood and lots of blood, with some gore and lots of gore. I've seen documentaries diving into the world of crime. I've heard stories about the Holocaust, and I've seen many a Holocaust survivor in my time recounting their stories. And even on the internet as a whole, I, of course, am no stranger to disturbing stories. For instance, there's the story of Andy Velasco, the fat autistic Mexican who sounds like he's choking on a big glob of peanut butter every time he speaks. I've heard his tales of sexually assaulting his dog, abusing the dog in question, holding a knife to said dog, proclaiming that if anyone tries to steal said dog, he will kill it on the spot, hitting the dog and Lord knows what else. And I've also seen this Andy Velasco individual sexually harass children, 12-year-old girls, trying to get them to touch themselves. Many other things. I've also heard the story of Nick Bates, the cross-dressing, fucked up teeth having pedo who honestly thought he can get away with molesting his little sister by making a tape where he masturbates with shit. But out of all that, there's truly one thing that I find more disturbing, that I find more repulsive than cuties, I might add. One thing that is truly repulsive and terrifying, and something that I know that many of you have been praying to the gods above would never happen, is to learn that Ethan Ralph is going to be a dad. That has always been one of the scariest thoughts any person on the internet, especially this little corner of the internet that I and many of you inhabit, that is one of the main concerns for this little corner of the internet. We have prayed to the gods above, hoping, pleading to our heavenly creator up in the heavens above, that Ethan Oliver Ralph would not be allowed to produce, that Ethan Ralph would not be allowed to breed, that Ethan Ralph would not find a woman stupid enough to bear his child. And we pleaded and we pleaded and we pleaded. But alas, my friends, it appears our calls, our pleas, us begging in unison has fallen on deaf ears. For it appears that the one thing we have all feared, and the one thing the Alpha Chad Daddy himself, Mr. Matthew Vickers, has feared, may just be the case. It may appear that Ethan Ralph has finally gotten a girl pregnant. Now, As of me recording the audio for this video and uploading this video as a whole, I do not know if what you see before you is true. It could just be a little own of sorts, as a little way to scare off Daddy Vickers. But in this sad, depraved world that is the internet, anything is possible. And if it is truly to be the case, the dark times are ahead. For dark times are truly ahead. Not just for Ralph, or Faith, or Faith's parents, or every single one of us big bully jerks, but for he who has not been born yet. There have been many contenders for the crown of internet blood sports. Many a man has attempted, and in some places has even snagged the crown as winner of internet blood sports, only to have the crown snatched by someone else. And the cycle repeats itself again and again and again and again. There have been many names that have been uttered throughout the short history of internet blood sports, proclaiming that this person is indeed the true winner of internet blood sports. But one question that has always been on my mind is who was the true loser of internet blood sports? Naturally, one would say would have to be the former kings of internet blood sports. I mean, when you look at the roster of those who were once kings, they eventually became the fools. They eventually lost internet blood sports. When you think of people who have lost internet blood sports, what are the names you normally think of? Why, of course, Tonkasaw, Baked Alaska, our boy in question, Ethan Ralph, Andy Worski, Dick Masterson, Dame Pesos, Gator, Jim, and countless others. But to me, in my heart at least, and no doubt in the hearts of many, there is but one true loser in all of this. There is one true loser of internet blood sports. And that is no doubt the future child of Ethan Ralph, the spawn of the Gunt. For the minute that child leaves Faith's womb, it's all over for that child. For that child will be brought into a world where its father is a 34-year-old alcoholic with a criminal record who lives at home with his mommy in a crack shack in the middle of Richmond, Virginia, whose very own mother is dying of dialysis, and where said Ethan Ralph could care less for his mother while she is laying there in her hospital bed dying, awaiting the sweet release of death. That inside this home, it's nothing but trash. Lord knows how many McDonald's hamburger wrappers and empty buckets of KFC, and Lord knows how many bottles of Maker's Mark and Coca-Cola and Woodford Reserve litter the place. When that child gets released from the hospital and has to come home with Faith in the Gunt, that child will be stepping into the home of a pig, of an animal, And as we speak also, Daddy Vickers has recently sent over some very interesting things and some very interesting messages in regards to Ethan Ralph and Faith's relationship. Stuff that, if the rumors are true, mind you, if the rumors are true, might just land the gun right back in prison. So aside from the fact that the possible child of Ethan Ralph is gonna have to be fucking living in a shit heap crack shack in the middle of Richmond, Virginia, that child will be fatherless. That baby will be having to be raised by a 19-year-old, mentally unhinged, recent high school graduate. Just let that sink in. Let that sink in and weep. Not for Faith, or for the Gunt, or for both Mommy and Daddy Vickers. Let not your hearts weep for them, for they have done already too much. Instead, weep for those who have not been born yet, for those who have not been asked to be involved in the situation, for those who have had no choice, for those who have no say in the matter, for the child of Ethan Ralph. Weep for that baby. Pray that that baby never gets born. Pray that Ethan Ralph will never ever have a child. And every time he attempts to have a child, that child will die of a miscarriage. And if that baby is indeed to be born, pray, my friends. Pray as hard as you possibly can for Child Protective Services to barge into Ethan Ralph's crack shack and trudge through the trash and the booze bottles. Pray for them to trudge through that dumpster of a house and snatch that baby away and give that baby a new life. Let that baby be raised by parents that don't have criminal records, that aren't drunken idiots, that aren't manipulative, attention-seeking, mentally ill ethos. Pray for that baby to live a normal life, and pray for that baby to never meet Ethan Ralph, to not know that Ethan Ralph is this child's father, to pray that the child of Ethan Ralph will grow up to live a very successful and happy life, while Faith and Ralph die alone and miserable. That's all we can do, and that's all I'm going to do. And I encourage you all, before you lay your head to rest today, I would like for every one of you to take a moment and pray to your God, whoever that may be, and pray that if a child of Ethan Ralph is to be born, may Child Protective Services do the world a favor and take that baby away so that it may be raised by people that actually know how to raise a baby, that actually care about babies, that aren't drunken hillbillies with criminal records. Keep that baby in your thoughts tonight, because Lord knows that kid's gonna need all the prayers it's gonna need.